From Software is one of the most popular video game developers right now, being infamous for creating some of the hardest and most taxing fantasy RPGs of all time. Every game that has come out of their Souls series has been so beloved by fans, especially those asking for a challenge when it comes to video games. So when Miyazaki, the executive of From Software, announced in 2018 that he is teaming up with George R.R. Martin, the writer for Songs of Ice and Fire, for a new game, fans were very excited. The hype was through the roof for when this game would come out, and now the game's finally out, and across the board, the game is getting some of the best scores and reviews I've ever seen for a video game. I wanted to do some video on it. So without further ado, I am Tiago with Attack on Tiago, and for today's video, I'll be going over if Elden Ring is worth all the hype. If you're new to this channel, if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified next time I upload a video. Also, be sure to check out my community Discord server. It is rapidly growing, with many fans and a lot of active members. The link to it is in the description below. Now, if anyone's familiar with Miyazaki's works, they know that there isn't a full story with the games, but instead it is very lore-based, and we piece together the story through actions, characters talking, or even through items. However, this is the official premise of Elden Ring. Elden Ring takes place in the Lands Between, sometime after the destruction of the titular Elden Ring and the scattering of its shards, the Great Runes. Once graced by the ring and the Erd Tree which symbolizes its presence, the realm is now ruled over by the demigod offspring of Queen Marika, the Eternal, each possessing a shard of the ring that corrupts and taints them with power. As Tarnish, we the players are exiles from the Land Between who lost the ring's grace and are summoned back after the shattering. Players must traverse the realm to ultimately find all the great runes, restore the Elden Ring, and become Elden Lord. Every From Software game in the Souls series so far has followed one linear path throughout, with little deviation. But what makes Elden Ring so different is its open world. This is the first truly open world From Software game, allowing players to truly craft their own journey and adventure and discover many secret dungeons, bosses, weapons, armors, and much more. And Elden Ring truly delivered on a gorgeous open world. The regions are well thought out and are all unique in their own way. And let's talk about sheer size. There is so much content in this world that it's basically impossible to see everything the world has to offer in one playthrough. Something I sure to hope to do in subsequent playthroughs. Something From Software has come known for, though, is its combat and its boss fights. But let's start with its combat gameplay in the game. Elden Ring truly feels like a culmination of every previous game's best features in combat combined into one smooth combat system. Plus a lot more in what previous games have contained. From the new crafting system, to the summons, to the Ashes of War, Elden Ring has given the players the most customization yet. With so many options and combinations, every player is bound to fight the right build tailored for themselves. Me personally, I valued good mobility plus a katana, due to its power and speed combination. But there are so many other loadouts I'd love to try at some point, like colossal weapons, great spears, halberds. Like I said, there's so many options. But in my opinion, this is the best combat system I've ever seen in a game yet. Alright, let's talk about the bosses finally. Boss fights is From Software's bread and butter, having some of the most iconic and difficult bosses in gaming history. First, I have to mention the sheer amount of boss encounters in this game, possessing the most boss fights I've ever seen in a game. There has been no official number yet since the game is still new, and some bosses could be left undiscovered, but is already well over 100. But with that many bosses, how do they rank with other Souls games' galleries? Obviously, with that many bosses, many are lackluster. But overall, Elden Ring is truly some amazing boss fights, and some of my personal favorites in the entire Souls series. One in particular has you pitted against a war-torn general nicknamed the Conqueror of the Stars, and how you have the option of essentially summoning an NPC raiding party to assist. The battle starts with him raining down gravity-infused arrows from afar, and then you have to make his way eventually over to him for a climactic duel. And did I mention how we were fighting on a battlefield where he was cursed to rot? And this said battlefield is about half the size of the entire region that we've been playing through. Truly epic. There are multiple fights that feel grand in stature like this one. In terms of difficulty, that is entirely up to the player though, as the game can be very challenging or quite on the easier side depending on your playthrough. The game gives many options to assist beginners to the game, like very powerful summons that when leveled up can deal significant damage to bosses and distract them from yourself, like the Mimic Tier, essentially a doppelganger of yourself fighting beside you. Or if you're ever stuck on a boss, there's old exploration and other bosses you can fight to level yourself up and better prepare for yourself, and then when you come back, it'll be a lot easier. Point is, the game's difficulty is tailored to how you want it to be. Want a harder time? Go solo. No summons, less upgrades, or whatever it may be. Now, I have heard many people say how Elden Ring is a game many will not enjoy. And for that, I have to disagree. If it's a difficulty that is keeping people at bay, as I've explained earlier, there's many workarounds. I even had a friend who has never tried a Souls game before because he was so scared about the difficulty, and I convinced them to get Elden Ring, and he absolutely loves it. So much that he wants to play the other Souls games now. Elden Ring is a game built on fan service. It is a game that delivered on everything the fans wanted and more so. A love letter to previous series and works of art that have inspired the foundation. It is a game that will be moving its genre forward and one that will be looked back on as a staple of this generation. In a day and age where some of the most hyped games can end up as huge disappointments, like Cyberpunk or Final Fantasy VII Remake, Elden Ring gives hope to players that masterpieces are just around the corner. Well everyone, that is it for the video. I know this is a bit of a short video about me talking about Elden Ring, but I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on out there before I get into more videos. I hope you guys did enjoy this video as it is quite different than my normal anime manga content. So also be sure to be on the lookout for my next video, which will be a ranking of the hardest bosses in Elden Ring. Yes, another Elden Ring video, as I am absolutely loving the game right now, and I just wanted to pump out some content before I get back into my usual anime manga stuff. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. I am Tiago from Attack on Tiago, and I hope you all have a nice day.